So it's 2 a.m. in the morning and I've been up trying to fix a mess I've made with a backdoor Roth conversion. Welcome back, everybody. My name's Nick from Nguyening Lifestyles, and I just wanted to share with you today 5 mistakes to not make with your backdoor Roth conversion. I've definitely made a couple of these mistakes myself while trying to set them up for some people I really care about, and man, have they just been such a headache to try and fix. So to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes, let's go ahead and get started. Mistake number 1. Make sure that you check ahead of time that you don't have any other retirement accounts with some pre-tax money in it that's not a 401k. What I'm talking about is like a traditional, a SEP, a simple, a rollover IRA. Like if you have any flavor of IRA that I just talked about that has pre-tax money in it, hold up,
wait a minute.
stop, and don't do your backdoor Roth until you actually speak to a financial advisor or some sort of a tax professional. We'll definitely talk about some ways to get around that in a future video, so stay tuned for that. But this is how you prevent yourself from getting into this whole pro-rata thing. But let's move on to mistake number 2, and that is not buying anything with the money you've already converted. So many people forget you only make money in that Roth if you actually buy investments with it. What I'm talking about are like stocks, index funds, bonds, REITs. Personally, my favorite is to just invest really simply in index funds like the S&P 500 or a total stock market fund that averages about 6 to 8% every single year. Remember, if you just leave the money in there without buying anything with it and it's just like a money market mutual fund or something, you're gonna barely be making anything and it's not really working for you. You're not gonna get those great returns and start really getting that compound interest tax-free. Now, mistake number 3 is not filling out a Form 8606 with your tax return. This form is required whenever you make a non-deductible contribution to that traditional IRA. Boy, that was a mouthful. Remember, the process works by first opening a traditional IRA, then putting after-tax money into it, that's the non-deductible part, and then converting that over to the Roth. So whenever you do this, you create a non-deductible event, so you have to fill out and document that on that 8606 form. Make sure you tell your accountant, or if you're filing taxes for yourself, that you check the appropriate boxes to have that filled in correctly and sent off to the IRS. And while we're on the topic of non-deductible traditional IRA contributions, that brings us to mistake number 4, letting your money sit in that traditional IRA for too long and it gains a lot of money. Well, what do I mean by this? If you open a traditional IRA and you start putting in after-tax money, that's the non-deductible part of it, right? And you let it sit for a super long time, or you buy really great investments with it, and one day you open it up, magically it has $2,000 worth of gains. Well, what you've just done is generated $2,000 worth of taxable money in the account. This really complicates things when you start to do the conversion to the Roth. You can potentially create a pro-rata rule, and we'll talk about ways to prevent and or fix it in a future video. But that's a reminder for us to tell you right now that we are not financial service providers here at Nguyening Lifestyles. We're just a bunch of folks who've made mistakes and want to share our experiences for educational and entertainment purposes. But make sure that you definitely find one of those licensed financial gurus to help you out for your particular situation if you have any questions. And that brings us to our final mistake for the evening. Hopefully this goes without saying, but do not make a direct contribution to a Roth IRA if you're not eligible. How do you know if you're not eligible? Well, as of 2021, if you make more than $139,000 as a single tax filer or more than $206,000 as a married couple filing jointly, that's your income cutoff. And I promise you right now, brokerages don't have all of your information on hand. Their software isn't sophisticated enough to start throwing off warnings telling you,
Hey, you're not eligible for a Roth IRA.
No, they don't know it will let you just open the Roth and start putting money in. I mean, like, yeah, you can do that, but come tax season, man, you're gonna have a lot of paperwork to deal with, create a bunch of headaches, and maybe even have to pay a lot of, well, fees and penalties. So just like, don't do it. You need to take the proper steps if you're not eligible to just open a Roth IRA. What that means is first start by opening a traditional IRA and then making a non-deductible contribution. What that means is putting after-tax money into the account. And once you do that, then convert it over to the Roth IRA. If you want to know how to do that step by step in fidelity, check out our video linked here at the end. where we show you, well, how to do it. And most importantly, if you've made any of these mistakes before, don't worry, just stay tuned for a future video where we talk through how to fix those problems. And if you liked our content, do us a huge favor, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down below with any questions that you may have so that we have ideas for future videos. But as always, thank you so much again for checking us out here at Nguyening Lifestyles, where our goal is to find ways to build wealth together. Until next time.